I graduated from law school. I was working on Wall Street doing mergers and acquisitions in the mid 80s. And my roommate from undergraduate school was Crystal Waters, and she called me and said she was offered a recording contract and needed a lawyer. So that was my first introduction to the music business. From there, I went on to help found a record company with some classmates of mine from Howard University, and we ended up producing Drew Hill and Maya.
Excellent. So in addition to Drew Hill and Maya and the aforementioned Missy Elliot, what other artists have you had in your stable that you've been able to help?
Well, I wouldn't call in my stable. Artists that I've represented as an attorney.
Represent? Okay, that's more comfortable.
Sure, Tank.
Okay.
Some older artists, Peaches and Herb, the original Moments, Africa Bambaataa, Soul Sonic Force, Mr. Cheeks. Trying to think of some others, but I've done like just some general consulting and contract review for people like Praz from the Fugees and other artists like that, who I sometimes just review their contracts and give them analysis of what their contracts mean and when they should be looking to receive royalties, or if they want to get out of the contracts, what steps they need to take to get out of contracts.
Excellent. And in this business, what are some of the rewards and what are some of the challenges that come about as a result of representing so many high-profile entertainers?
Well, I guess one of the challenges is just kind of balancing zealously representing my clients against their, kind of the stress and strain of the music industry, and not trying to push so hard that I destroy opportunities for them because I'm trying to zealously represent their interests.
Exactly. Do their egos ever play a part?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say it's so much ego as it is
their workload.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's more they're sometimes not quite understanding what the legal implications or the contractual implications are of things that they want to do, and my having to kind of explain that to them in a way that they can kind of digest and see the point and understand why it's better to do it one way versus another. And sometimes I let them do it their own way, and then they realize that that's not working out, and sometimes we can go back and fix it, and sometimes we can't.
Right. One last thing, Ms. Rosario, what advice would you give or want to give to aspiring artists here in Memphis who are well along the way, but they will need proper legal representation in the future as their careers evolve and they become more relevant, whether mainstream or underground?
Well, I would say, it's really important, number one, to always read your own contracts. But when you're being presented with a contract, you really need to get legal advice. You need to go to a lawyer who has experience. You don't want to go to a lawyer who's not really that experienced, so that means you're going to have to pay some money to have a lawyer really review your contracts and make sure that the contract is structured in a way that allows you the flexibility to get out of the contract if it's something that ultimately isn't working out for you, especially if you're doing contracts with small independents. You have the most ability to have leverage to create the most beneficial situation for yourself. But if you don't have a lawyer, you might sign all your rights away to a little independent company without realizing that you didn't even have to do that. Exactly. So it's important to have legal representation, but it's also important to read and be abreast of things and to actually read your contracts. Mm-hmm. Read them. Don't, if someone hands you a contract, just don't hand it over to your manager or a lawyer. If a manager hands you a contract and says sign it, just don't sign it because they said sign it. Read it. Right. And if you don't understand something, make notes in the margins. Ask questions. Go Google it on the internet and do what you have to do so that you have enough knowledge so that you can make informed decisions about your career. Because one of the worst scenarios, and it's happened more than one time, a small independent artist signs all their rights away to a small company, not realizing that that's what they're doing, and then a bigger opportunity comes along, and either they can't take advantage of it or they don't get any money for it because they signed all their rights away. Great.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it here first on WREGradio.com. I'm here with the very intelligent and lovely, I might add, Lita Rosario, and she is here in Memphis with us tonight. I'm Gil Carter from WREGradio.org, the host of the Carter Experience with Gil Carter Internet Radio Talk Show. You heard it here first. WREG Radio, making moves here in the city of Memphis and beyond.
Thank you. Can you give us a drop if you don't